Our next conversation is going to be about workplace management and outsourcing of non-core functions, right? We're joined by George Maina. George is the Managing Director of Tsebo Facility Solutions Kenya Limited. Good morning, George.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well. Welcome to the hot seat of the Situation Room.
Thank you very much.
Asante sana for joining us.
Thank you.
How does it feel?
Well, the seat is hot enough, so I'm sure we'll have an interesting morning.
This one should be interesting.
Yes.
This one, it should be interesting. Outsourcing non-core functions. First of all, even defining what's core and what's not. That will be a big one.
Indeed.
To welcome you to the conversation, City has the day's proverb.
I do.
From Djibouti.
From Djibouti, yes, whose capital city is Djibouti.
Yes.
A dog does not mind being called a dog.
A dog does not mind being called a dog.
No, the dog doesn't at all.
George, what's your interpretation of this proverb?
Well, that's a hard one, but I'll give it a try.
Yes, please.
I think it just goes to say that everybody should be comfortable with who they are. And if a dog does not mind being called dog, then I guess each and every one of us is individually and well made, and we should be proud of who we are and not shy away from being called who we are. Yes.
Be comfortable in your skin.
Correct.
Okay. And your identity.
Indeed.
This is who you are, this is what you are. Yes, indeed. Okay. So, George, what is Tsebo Facilities Solutions Kenya Limited?
Thank you very much. Tsebo Facilities Solutions Kenya Limited is a workplace management systems company. So what we specialize in is performing tasks that we consider, or most companies consider, non-core. So I'll take an example of standard group where we are this morning.
Yeah.
So your work is broadcasting. So that's really your core business. So you're not really too interested in the security, the cleaning, the catering, the repairs and maintenance, etc., etc. And that's where Tsebo comes in. We specialize in offloading all the non-core functions of your property, and they become our core business. And that's really exactly what we do.
Why Tsebo? And
So-
Tsebo, for everybody who's listening, it's spelled Tsebo.
Yes.
Tsebo.
So so Tsebo means many things. So if you go across to our neighbors in Uganda, Tsebo is, a word of honor for an old man. But we've borrowed the name Tsebo from Lesotho, which the Tsebo name, means knowledge. And so Tsebo means knowledge. And what we aspire to do is to give knowledge to our people, to our Kenyan people, and to Africans in general. And I dare say that we're a company that cuts across 25 countries in this continent. And so we want to take this knowledge across to everyone.
So what is your core function as Tsebo?
So my core function as Tsebo, I am the Managing Director of Tsebo Facilities Kenya Limited. I've done this job for almost 30 years now. And I started in the hospitality industry where I trained in hotel management. And what we do in Tsebo is really creating a hotel within a workplace, or creating a hotel within an industry, or creating a hotel within a school, or any other, building facility. So we come in with the professionalism, the service standards that you would expect in any good 5-star hotel, but then we, transpose this into a workplace so that when you come to work as, broadcasters, you're able to do your work without having to worry about, is this office cleaned? Do I have, tea and water? Is my security taken care of? Is the lift working, etc., etc. So that's what we do.
Okay, so please stop me if I'm wrong, but essentially what we're saying is that remove all of these other happenings that are not core business to a business and let somebody else handle them so that the business itself can focus on its core business. I don't know how many times I've used business in that statement, but is that what we're saying?
It's exactly what we're saying. And when you do that, you see that Number one, you save costs, mainly because you're not spending a lot of time thinking about small issues which are really non-core. You have time to invest in productivity of your core business. Again, if I use another example, like a school or a hospital, the doctors, the teachers, they're there to teach the children. The doctors are there, to look after the patients. And, they can learn more, become more innovative in their field when all this other stuff that is there to support their business is looked after by a professional company that will not let them down. When the power goes, your generator will be working, and things like that, such that you have utmost uptime, and all you need to do is focus on your business, save costs, and become better at what you do. Yeah.
How does it say? Can we look into the details of how removing peripheral operations does then save cost to a business operation?
So, number one, how it's able to save costs is, as Tsebo, we're able to amalgamate. So we are an integrated facilities management solution. So what that means is each and everything is bundled up, right from security to your reception services and so on. So instead of having 20, 30 different vendors, you have only one invoice at the end of the day. So that saves cost in your accounts payables, because you don't have 20 different people chasing 20 different vendors. You only have basically one neck to choke, which is Tsebo's. So you don't have multiple layers of supervisors and managers working. And most of all as well, in terms of your management time, the time that you save worrying about whether tissue paper was brought into the facility, whether this particular subcontractor has been paid. All of that time is put into useful use, which is managing your core business and getting better at each day by day.
Yeah. So how then do you ensure, because even in as much as core business is what matters, these other things that are done are complementary to the business operating. So how do you then ensure that all these other cogs, even after having taken off that responsibility, that they are running, and that the core business will not have to say, well, where is this thing? How do you ensure that those operations continue to run seamlessly?
That's a very good question. And how we do it, our business is purely a people business. So all of these things are driven by people at all times. And we have a very good, HR and people department, that trains our people and makes sure that everything is done, properly and professionally. As I mentioned, our business across Africa is 51 years old, and in Kenya, this is our 15th year of operation. So over the years, we continue to learn. We're a learning organization, and we take feedback, and all the feedback and the learnings that we're getting from all our current and existing clients make us become better and sharper, and hence can guarantee an uptime at all times of what we're doing. Yes.
George, as I'm listening to you, I'm looking back into what many organizations would find difficult is in defining what is core to them and what is non-core. How do you help companies to realize what their core business is? Because there are many who will say, all right, so I'm in the service industry. I don't know what's core to me. Well, is accounting a core business, a core function to me? Is marketing a core function to me? Is sales a core function to me? Is, like you said, the Standard Group, Spice FM. We are broadcasting, but we're looking to make revenue. So being in studio, this is core function, to have presenters and to have producers and content creators. Is marketing a core function for Spice FM? Is sales a core function for Spice FM? Is then accounting that will deal with this a core function? Is debt collection a core function? So how do you help us determine what is core and what is non-core?
So, it's an ongoing conversation. And the business itself also needs to understand and help answer that question to begin with. I mean, in the last many years, there's been a lot of business process outsourcing, whether it's call centers, accounting functions of big multinationals are outsourced, payables and so on and so forth. So in as much as we help you, try to understand, I think it also needs to come from the business itself, where are your pain points? Where are you spending so much time, doing something that you're really not good at, and you can be able to get, somebody or a company that is good at it, invest all their time and energy in making it better, and ultimately, gives you the value that you want to extract from your company. So it's a two-way street, I'd say.
But do you work with a company through a journey of identification?
Yes.
Because I think at some point it becomes a difficult thing. Yeah. So it's a pain point, but it's important for me to go through this pain because I have to understand my business. If a radio station must make money through selling airtime, so must I have a sales department or can I outsource this sales? It's a conversation that you may have that then just goes round and round. How do you help me identify what is really critical as core and what is not? Maybe even outsourcing presenters can happen. And
you never know. So, I mean, one of the things is we always first look at the low-hanging fruits. So in the whole ecosystem, there's some things that you're easily able to let go, I mean, and some are the usual services, from security to, cleaning, to catering, to repairs and maintenance and stuff like that. And then as you continue to get comfortable, because it's also, there's an issue about comfort. Most companies have probably done this all their lives. They do not know how to do it differently. And so once you start with the low-hanging fruits and then you get some comfort, then you're able now to be able to focus more on the other areas that you think are a bit critical, but you might like to outsource. You have to look at the cost-benefit analysis of, outsourcing. What are the risks of keeping it in-house, of outsourcing, and then slowly, walk towards that journey. But it is a journey. Once you start it, then, you get better and better with it.
Are there some of these non-core functions that you would not take on? For example, if you say, well, this is a non-core function for you, you come in and you do the due diligence and you say, oh, we must weed this and out. But as Tsebo, we will not take this one because maybe we don't either have the expertise for it or we feel that you could get better at it. Do you give that kind of advice
Absolutely, as well? Yes. I mean, we know what we're good at and we know what our partners are good at. So there are items that we do not touch, but we can point you in the right direction. And we just, again, remember, this is about being, doing what you're good at. And so we will not do something that, we're not sure or we're not good at. So we already have services that we offer. We'll continue to offer those services. And what we know that there's a better partner in the market, we point you in the right direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so let's take a scenario where you come into company X and they have all these functions that they operate alongside their core. And obviously they need help. There's an hemorrhage in some part here or there. You say, okay, let's take away some of this cost from you by, outsourcing some of your functions. And you're using, or are you using, the very same resources that are available in terms of human resources and saying, we will outsource, but we're going to use your people and bring them under us to now do the same job. How does that exactly work? Do you remove the same people or do those people leave the organization? Do you bring in your own people? How does that process then? So
again, in most cases, some of the people will come over to us. And in some cases, they may elect not to come over to organization. And this is how it works. So we would not take out over people and put them in a worse-off situation. They will always be having, the same remuneration and so on and so forth. However, when you come over to Tsebo, because we have so many clients, your career growth is pretty much assured. As opposed to in one organization where, you were doing something and you really hit a glass ceiling because the company is not expanding, for example, if you're working in, say, standard group, and you're the security manager, for example, the likelihood of you being the managing director of the group, it can happen, but it probably difficult.
There's a lower probability.
There's a lower probability. But in our case, when you come over to Tsebo, you can be the managing director of Tsebo. Why? Because this is what we do, whether it's a catering, whether it's the cleaning, and so on and so forth. So your career growth is much, much more assured. And we'll induct you into our ways, and you get the benefits of that.
Somebody has argued, George, before that business process outsourcing is not necessarily a cost-cutting measure in terms of monetary terms. Could we have other benefits, but not necessarily cutting down your costs, because you will hire a security company, the security company will charge you per guard, and this is how much you pay per guard, and this will keep changing every year as you renew the contract. You will hire a security officer directly, and you will pay X amount, which may even be less than what the security company is charging you. So you're not necessarily cutting costs. Is that true?
It's not true. I mean, I think the whole, outsourcing process, if you get the right partner, you will certainly be able to cut costs. And costs can be cut right from the, the shillings that you pay, whether it's per person or, per service, all the way down to the risks. What people also don't understand is, what risk are you offloading, and so on and so forth. So there is a real, economy in outsourcing and outsourcing properly.
Demonstrate. Use that example of security. So you're outsourcing security.
Yep.
Because we see a lot that this happens. There are many security companies, and then they're attached because their company has outsourced security to this security company. What's the benefit? Where is the cost cutting coming in?
So are you talking about, say, between two security companies, or
No.
you had your own security company?
I am running a business.
Yep.
Okay. Initially, before the proliferation of all the security companies, I used to hire my own.
Correct.
Right. I would either hire them, then give them uniform and have a timetable. They come to work on this day. They have a supervisor, and the supervisor is doing that. I'm paying salary, I'm paying taxes, I'm paying everything. They are employed by my organization. And then this other scenario where I have outsourced that to a security company.
So,
and I have the service level agreement says I need 17 guards on duty every 24 hours.
So, I mean, number one, when you look at what you are paying as Company X versus what you're being charged by,
security company
why would you opt to go for security company Y when it is more expensive than what you are paying for your Company X?
My point exactly.
Perhaps if it's security, it isn't the cost. Perhaps is what I perceive to be better service. Perhaps is what I perceive as a confirmation that the personnel are better trained. A background check on them indicates clearly that they have more expertise in this line of work than the previous one. So the cost becomes a secondary factor.
Well, but ultimately, it will still end up as a cost saving, in my view, simply because, so if you've already considered those factors, you've considered the lack of a headache managing your own people, you've considered the fact that if one of them is sick today and you need a replacement, if they're working for you, you can't get a replacement because you would have to hire somebody or put somebody on standby. But in this security company, for example, they would be able to give you a replacement immediately. And so things like that, and off days and leave days. And just talking a bit more about what we do in Tsebo. So like we, in our security, we don't have boots on the ground, but we use technology. So, and our technology is, you can use it with any service provider. And so like most places, including probably here in, again, Standard Group, you've got CCTV cameras. But they're all static. You only see, whether people came in, went out, etc. But we can overlay technology in those cameras to tell you, which areas are being used more often.
Just go back a little bit. This overlay.
Yes.
Okay. Now start.
So you've got a security company.
Yes.
You've got your CCTV cameras.
Yes.
You've got your whoever service provider that you have.
Yes.
Okay.
As Tsebo, we can be able to bring technology within the same system. So you still keep your
The CCTV installations remain.
and even your security
And the
services
security
provider.
company remains.
But then we'll help you now get more refreshing data. So, for example, you'll be able to tell which corridors are more used more often, etc., and that can also inform, say, the cleaning process or which places to put, mag locks for entry, and
Is it
egress.
also possible to put in a system that guarantees you literally have to sign in before you actually come in?
Yes, it's possible.
It's possible.
It's possible, including, I know we seem to have forgotten about COVID now, but the system as well can also take temperature checks. So you're passing through that camera all the time. It should be able to take your temperature, and it can flag. And we've done this especially in schools, for children, somebody's running a fever or something. And so it's taking it to the next level, basically. And that's why we're saying, yes, you can look at it just from the shillings and cents perspective, but how do you take this thing better, get more useful information, and be able to save costs?
So you're able to actually integrate systems
Correct.
for better efficiency,
Yes.
given what the demands of your clients are.
Correct.
Now, I really want to take you further back. What made you think of this business?
Good question. So, one of the things, as I said, I was trained in the hospitality business, and I first went to work in Mombasa as my first job, and then fate took me to West Africa, where I worked.
What form did this fate take?
Mundu is nodding vigorously,
Ignore that question.
Yes,
Just continue.
Well, let's just say fate took me to
Fates
West
are
Africa.
made.
Yeah, you said that in West Africa, legends being made.
The legends were made there. And, So I ended up as what we call a camp manager in one of the remote sites where in a gold mining company, Anglo Gold, Ashanti. And so from there, I started to wonder, how come in these remote places somebody would expect to get really good service, really good bed, real good food, etc., and started my journey of doing this job. I went there as an employee. I ended up buying the company from the founder.
The camp.
The
Or
company.
the company.
Yes, and the rest is history now.
Part 2 of your history question.
History is a wonderful thing, isn't it? Okay. Think about it. See, I'm looking at the thinking process of simply looking at gaps that exist within organizations, which we now refer to as opportunities. You see, okay, that's what these guys do. Now, they are bothering doing this, but this really isn't their core business. For instance, it's like us. If we didn't have a cafeteria that's run by a catering firm, now imagine Standard Group employing people to cook.
Can imagine.
I can also imagine, and I can also imagine the mess and the problem and the headaches that we would have. Okay? Or Standard Group employing security people. I can just again imagine, yes, you could employ them. And then what? It'll all get muddled up in your core business, and you'd actually stop focusing on your core business, dealing with these other issues. But now, is there a point at which your organization then looks and sees and says, but given what these guys are doing, I'm going back into history, we can as well take over this organization, because if we are running the extracurricular activities that they have, then chances are we can also run what they're doing.
Not
to
really.
bought off a client?
No. The
Well, yes, because if you have the know-how to determine, look, this is your core business, and they acknowledge, actually, you're right, we don't need to be doing this, then it means you have moved yourself to the position where you actually understand their business. That's why you can tell them, this isn't your core business. Now, you see, the next logical step that I'm saying.
I don't think it would be the next logical step, because we pride ourselves in what we do. We're, in Kenyan parlance, KYM people. And that's our niche. What bothers most people is a joy for us, and that's why we will not. We don't care to be in the broadcasting business. We don't care to own,
You have no idea how lucrative it is, that's why.
We're happy where we are, and it's lucrative cleaning
Because
and
you have no
catering
idea how
and
lucrative
doing all of
cleaning
other
is.
things.
That's why, City.
Yeah.
What is the core business of Tsebo Facility Solutions?
So the core business of Tsebo Facility Solutions is providing workplace management services. And what do we define workplace management services are? It's the non-core issues that you're working with. So everything from the gate, the security, you get to the reception, you find a clean environment.
Yeah.
Everything works. The lift works. The ACs work, etc. You can go to the cafeteria and have a meal. There's water and so on and so forth. That is the core business of Tsebo.
So you're all those other things.
We're all those other things that make this workplace enjoyable. That things that you will not notice. But if this office is not cleaned for 2-3 days, you will have a problem. Correct. But generally, because it happens so seamlessly all the time, and you can walk down to the cafeteria and grab a cup of coffee or something, you really don't notice the effort that is put into, doing all of these things, and that's really what our core business is.
George, is Tsebo an agency
No.
that then outsources this core function? I outsource the headache to you, then you deal with the various service providers? Or are you saying Tsebo is the various service providers rolled into one?
So our uniqueness, and I guess that's really a very important question, is that we self-perform all of these services. So we do not outsource. So we have employees who work in cleaning, who work in catering, who work in technical repairs, maintenance, etc., etc. However, there are certain small items that could be specialized. So, for example, say you don't want to stock lift spare parts for Schindler and so on and so forth. So you would outsource to a specific, or if there's an OEM and there's a defects liability period and we've come to a client, then we'd work with the OEM and so on. But we do all the work. And in Kenya we have over 1,500 staff. Across the continent we're about 33,000 people who do each and every piece of work that is required.
But surely, just like you're telling us at Spice FM, we must have our core expertise. Do you have a core expertise? Do you have something that you say, we are actually stronger in security services than we are in cleaning, or than we are in repairs and maintenance, or than we are in accounting and auditing functions?
So remember when I started, I said my background and the background of most of the people we work with is hospitality, hotels in particular. And so we endeavor to provide a hotel environment at the workplace, whether it's a factory and so on and so forth. And if you go to a hotel, the core, everything is core, whether things are working, etc., the food, the beds are made, and so on and so forth. And so that's our principle. So I can't say just cleaning, I can't say just catering. It's all the services in the workplace that are relevant to making you feel comfortable, because we want this to be a hotel without beds, basically. Yes.
So, I imagine that then you have a workforce that is huge. You just talked about 33,000 around the continent.
Yes.
What in Kenya?
1,500 or so, plus or minus at any one time.
Right, across those functions.
Yes.
So do you then take on the needs of an organization? For example, you had a cleaning staff 50 strong. Okay, maybe that's a high number. 25 strong, whatever. And then you now say, we're going to replace with the number that you had before you released it to us? Or are you going to say, well, here's a more efficient model with which you can work, and maybe I will just give you five people that you can work with?
But the place will still be
as clean.
So that's exactly what we do. And talking about specifically about cleaning. So unlike most organizations who do cleaning as a standalone item, we like to price our cleaning based on square meters. And so we won't come and say, so you'll come and tell me I have 20 cleaners, but I'll say you might not need 20 cleaners. You might need 10 cleaners, but then we also need additional equipment. So, we can work the scrubbers and so on and so forth. So we give you a solution. That is why we're called Tsebo Facilities Solutions.
Okay.
So the idea is to give you a solution, and still, circles back to the point about you will save costs. And just talking about right now in Kenya, there's a lot of hard economic times. Companies are closing, for one reason or the other. We are there to support those companies, such that are there areas in your business that we could partner with you, help you save costs, because we also want to continue to provide employment for our people.
Yeah. Do you think that's where Kenya would be going? I remember walking into organization, and not here, another country, and there was one person. I mean, it felt like it was like a ghost town. There was one person at the reception, and she knew everything. She knew who was supposed to be going where, and this is your appointment, this is for this person, you go, you do your thing. I did not see anybody else. And then I can't remember which floor I was going to, but got to the next, and then again, there's one person there, and things are working seamlessly. There's a coffee, there's tea, whatever. It was clear that the place was clean. And then you do your business. But the people on the floor who were handling this business had nothing to do with this person who's at the reception.
Correct.
Did not know. They just knew that there was a schedule. It's done. Is that
she was a concierge?
Yes,
she was
essentially
a business concierge,
right? And she was very clear about what it was. So much so that she was speaking French to me, but then the other person who came and speak another language, she was speaking to them in another language. Was able to run that seamlessly, and then they went up, did their thing, they finished. Do we get to the point where you can have businesses that run in that manner, whereby this function of receiving people can be across board for different organizations, and then now you're maximizing on efficiency but minimizing on numbers in terms of human resource?
It is. That's in Europe, North America, and now even in the Middle East, it's happening, and that's our aspiration. And what we're trying to do is de-risk the whole process, because people feel uncomfortable when new stuff is being introduced, and that's why I even said we normally try to do a step-by-step approach, look at what is low hanging, so that then it builds the confidence and so on. But our aspiration is to get to where people are specialized, people are also learning new skills, so that they can get other opportunities, and we continue to grow together.
As you speak, I'm smiling or smirking because I'm thinking of these buildings we have in this city where there's some form of security individual who's asking for your ID. Yes, that's what they do. Yeah. And you're caught between trying to explain to them that I actually cannot give you my ID. I can show it to you, and you're thinking, let's make this thing seamless. So now you get rid of that person, because there are around 3 or 4 of them. Yes.
Let's make it seamless. Yeah, that's the way.
Then you have one individual who seems to know exactly what needs to be done and walks you through the process. The image that has been given with the presence of the security personnel is that you then are supposed to feel secure. I usually don't feel very secure though, but the idea is I'm supposed to feel secure that this is happening. Now, as you speak, the optics I am seeing, and that's why I was smirking and smiling, is inefficiency, not efficiency. So when you are offering this service, I'm taking the view that part of what you're offering is efficiency.
Correct.
Now, you mentioned technology. How then does technology mesh in with this individual who is there providing this particular service to ensure that you get to where you're going in this building, how then do you meld the security element with this individual? Because the optics are pronounced security. These numbers were in these uniforms, we tend to be blue for some reason. Yes.
So I mean, these. So you're right when you say that you have to, gel both the people and the technology, and you won't get a place where we will completely eliminate people, because people also like to
talk to other people,
and so on and so forth. But we can bring a lot of technology. I mean, one of the things as well is the way we do it now with, you write your name there and your ID. The laws of data protection are really, getting stricter. We do have a law on data protection. People should not be having this data sitting in every, building that you've ever visited in this town. And we know some of the conmanships that have come through is, people going to M-Pesa shops and probably getting some data, whatever, or other shops. So we intend to bring the right technology. Training is important, but more so as well ensure that both technology and the people, continue to give a good service.
What's the future in this, actually, when you talk about, innovation and technology coming in? What you are offering me is efficiency, right? That's basically what you're saying. I want you to be more efficient in your core business. And for you to be more efficient, you need to have all hands on deck doing what you ought to be doing and not thinking about all these other things. Now, that doesn't necessarily have to mean that you come in and bring people to do all those other things. You could employ technology. What's the future of that, of having all these other non-core functions actually being outsourced? Could you say that now, because your core function is accounts, or your core function is this and the other, I can house you all in one place where then I provide these other peripheral solutions to all of you together?
It's something that has happened, and especially now with the advent of people working, from home, people are, trying to minimize on their real estate, how much you're paying for rent and so on and so forth. So, and there's a lot of co-working spaces, available. So, I mean, what are co-working spaces doing? They're doing exactly that. So different people from different organizations come, but they experience the same service, technology, whether it's the emails and so on and so forth. I mean, one of the other things that we do in a very big way is catering. You're probably one of the biggest catering companies that most people do not know about, because we cater for institutions, for factories, for schools and colleges. And we're currently, cooking between 15 to 20,000 meals a day. I don't think there's many hotels or organizations that can do that. Yes.
Okay.
Whoa. So yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
So you have a central kitchen.
We have a central kitchen, and we also have kitchens in
satellite kitchens.
And kitchens in client premises, like what you have here. Yes, correct.
So I hear you to be saying that these kitchens serve certain outlets.
Yes.
Are these outlets yours?
Yes. Well,
some are.
They're your clients.
Our clients.
They're your clients.
So we're a corporate catering.
So you partner with them. Okay.
You've been hired by them.
CT Cafe. Okay.
I like the sound of that.
Okay. Now, meaning I come to you and I tell you this is what I'm going to be doing. So I don't really cook. You do the cooking for me.
Is that it? Is that what you're saying?
No. So
it's like
Standard Chartered Bank.
It's like Standard Group and our catering service provider.
Correct.
So also Tsebo does the catering service provision. So Tsebo would replace our catering service provider.
Yes.
There's that.
Yes, but you see, there is a reason why I'm saying CT Cafe. Let's say I have 10 restaurants in this town.
No, not cafes. Not walk-in, walk-out cafes, mainly
Corporate.
Yes, corporate. So there's a captive market.
Within
Yes.
institutions.
Correct. Yes.
See now.
Yeah, there's a captive market.
Now I've seen
Yes.
the difference. And
As
I've
a city
understood.
cafe, your core business is the cafe. is
Coffee.
the-
You
That
can't
is-
outsource
yes,
the cooking.
Yes.
Yes, you see, again,
You have to outsource your core business.
yes, no, it doesn't have to be my core business. My core business to
Can be
provide
making the money.
Yes, no, to provide the service, because you see, if there's a centralized cooking, I can guarantee quality and standardization.
Or your core business can be the waiter.
And dispensing the food. That is actually to a retail market.
Waiter.
And this is my production, and this is my wholesaler.
So long as you have your menu, you say this is what I want to be serving every
Yes.
day. You bring the food.
Yes.
We handle the rest.
Correct. So actually, you're very right. And we do have a few of those clients where we provide some items. So it could be baked items, it could be stews, etc. Where they outsource, we provide, and then they'll do the finishing and client facing. Yes.
Yeah.
So yes,
I know.
it's possible.
City. Done.
You're onto
So
something.
your city cafe
City
can
cafe
work.
can
Yes.
actually kick in.
Yes.
So this headache of mpisha ligongo na gari, I don't have that story.
Leo, hatuna nini.
Viazi hazijakuja. So
Just we're talking about the other business, which is on the one that offering office services, right?
Yes.
So you've got all these co-working spaces. So co-working spaces are doing exactly the kind of thing that you're doing.
yes.
Because you bring in all these companies are in this place, they are only paying rent for the desk and the
Correct.
small space that they occupy. The other guy is dealing with the cleaning, the security, the power, the internet connectivity, the concierge
Correct.
service, the mailing and all, and there's even a restaurant there. Similar kind of thing.
Yes, and we're actually even working with some co-working spaces and providing some of these auxiliary
Some of the auxiliary services.
Yes.
So that the co-working guy is only dealing with the real estate
Correct.
bits
Yes.
of, okay, so
Yes.
this is the thing so
Correct.
then Tsebo comes in to provide the security, to provide
The cleaning,
to
the
provide
food, etc. Basic repairs and maintenance and so on. Yes.
You know, in this kind of environment where FKE, like you just mentioned, FKE released a statement the other day, and it was just a statement of distress. This is what's happening in many of our member organizations. We're having to downsize, we're having to let go, we're having to. How would you be able to alleviate some of this distress for companies?
So, I mean, we feel the pain, even us. Like just this year, we had to increase the social security and SSF by 880 shillings, the 1.5% housing levy. And so we've also been working with our clients and partnering with them to ensure that, again, as I said, we provide a solution. So some solutions are very basic to, like, why do we need to clean during the day? Give us access, to clean, at night when there's no people, and we can do the job with less people. And during the day, there'll just be, one guy, who just goes through
Touch-ups.
5-6 floors. You don't even get to see him, or her for that matter. So it's coming up with solutions, and these solutions are whatever we can save. Will save a business. If it's overlaying technology in guarding, so why have a static guard, standing behind the wall, and just having a buzzer which that they have walked there every hour. Could you use the CCTVs in that area better, and things like that. So catering services as well, can we change the menu to a much more basic but nutritious meal still, and lower the cost, because food year on year inflation has continued to go up. So it's coming up with solutions and seeing how do we keep businesses running and create a win-win situation for all of us.
Institutions, like schools are not they're schools that are businesses, they're public schools are not businesses. Would you offer services to the same?
Yes, we actually have quite a number of schools in our portfolio, and we're looking for other schools as well, if anybody is interested, and we're offering the full service. So again, the teacher and the management of the school just comes and does what they're supposed to do, which is, work on, education, get the grades and so on and so forth, as we work on sorting out all the other things in the environment.
Including transport?
Well, right now we don't do transport, but we do have a partner whom we advise, if a school needs transport, we can point you in the right direction.
Okay. How does one get in touch with you? People are listening to this and thinking, hey, I'd like to talk to you.
You can get in touch with us via email. The email is info@tsebo.com. You can also call us on 0722 755 033. And you can follow us, Tsebo Facility Solutions Kenya, in all the channels, Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube, and which other one?
KBC.
TikTok.
Those ones. Yes.
All those
ones, yes. Tsebo Facility Solutions Kenya.
Website?
Website, www.tsebokenya.co.ke.
And if I'm in Rwanda or other parts of Africa?
+254 722 755 033. You can call and we will be able to help you.
Thank you, George.
You're most welcome.
George Maina, Managing Director, Tsebo Facility Solutions Kenya Limited.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.